Could you tell me just what the difference is between detox and treatment?
Hmm. So detox is for acute, like it's for the initial stages for somebody who's going through withdrawal.
Mhm.
So whether that be alcohol, opiates, benzo,
Mhm.
anything where you're going to have a withdrawal, you would go to detox.
More of a medical
And
supervision.
yeah, and
Mhm.
it's anywhere from, I would say, I don't even know anymore, but 5 to 2 weeks, maybe 5 to 10 days is probably the average though.
Really?
And then treatment is, anything after that, which could be an IOP, like a intensive outpatient program. It could be a residential program. Halfway houses might fall into treatment.
Oh,
Anything where you have an extended period of time in a program.
for of recovery, right?
Yes.
Recovery program. Okay. Um, great. So tell us how was yoga an important part of your recovery? Because you are left that out of your bio. You are also a yoga teacher.
So I think this is funny. So I guess I had a resentment with yoga because not a beef with yoga because I thought it was really, when you see yoga, across the United States, specifically here in Connecticut too, it's very white. It's very, uh, very much mis.
Represented.
It's a, yeah, misrepresented. It's a really like colonized space, and it turned me off a lot. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Mhm.
And I actually started to get into yoga. Well, let me back it up. I had done yoga years ago, and that left a bad taste in my mouth. And then flash forward, I start working for Phoenix in 2021, and I was asked to take some virtual yoga classes, and I fell in love with yoga
Mhm.
through this one teacher. Her name is Marisa Iglesias. She teaches, I'll plug her right now. She teaches Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. to Eastern time, Tuesday morning, 8 a.m., and Saturdays at 9 a.m. And she's awesome. And it completely transformed like how I think of yoga and my relationship with yoga. So I love yoga now, but not always.
First, a couple of times I had tried it at different periods in my life. I didn't like it either. And it speaks to the fact that there's a whole lot of different philosophies. There's a whole lot of different ways to teach. Of course, millions of different teachers. And there's so many different types. And so some are more athletic, some are more gentle. I mean, everything in between. But so I think that's a really, really good point because a lot of people said, yeah, I tried yoga. I don't like it. Well, maybe you might want to give it another try.
And if we, like asana is just one limb of yoga. It
Hmm.
is such a
Exactly.
small, small piece. And, here in the West, we just take that small piece and make it the
Make it
whole thing.
everything. Exactly. And
So,
everybody, so many people think, oh, it's just about turning your body into a pretzel. And it's like, yeah, no, there's more to it than that. There's the breath work, it's the meditation, there's the philosophy, there's so much more to it. And
yeah,
yeah, and that gets left out. And yes, we get a lot of criticism for that here in the US for
yeah.
kind of diluting what it really is. But anyway, we digress. So please tell us what you do for the Phoenix, because there's a lot of great organizations out there like the Phoenix, and a lot of people don't know they exist.
So a little background too about the Phoenix
Mhm.
is we were founded in 2006 off of the premise of like bringing activity into the recovery space, because usually those two things are very separate. It's either you are going to 12-step meetings and maybe you are running on the weekend by yourself, but there wasn't really a bridge between the two where it blends like folks in recovery doing something fun that's not a meeting, right? Like that's usually like fellowshipping is like, hanging out with a bunch of people from the same meetings and the same, group. So we were founded in 2006, and it's kind of evolved from physical activity, from things like CrossFit and yoga, running, hiking, mountain climbing, to now more so like music and socials and things that bring people together outside of physical activities, because not everybody's into physical activities, or not everyone wants to sweat, or maybe some folks like that might be a little bit too much too soon. So it's something that they can ease into. So we have in a lot of places, we have book clubs, knitting. It all depends on where you are. And here specifically in Connecticut, we have crafts, karaoke, all kinds of social events. So the Phoenix kind of brings everyone together in a way where folks normally wouldn't all be in the same place, from different, maybe from AA, from Alcoholics Anonymous, from Narcotics Anonymous, family members of those people, friends of those people, all types of community organization. It brings everybody together where people might not necessarily all be in the same space at the same time. It's more about connection than anything. So here in Connecticut, we launched programs in 2021, and I've kind of been tasked with, I'm the only one here, so I really do everything and anything on the ground related to Phoenix. So we, do a lot of outreach to, brand awareness. A lot of people don't know that we exist. So that's been a lot of my work the last 2 years, creating volunteer communities. So folks don't necessarily need to teach yoga, but they can support yoga if they'd like to, or they can support a social event if they'd like to, or support rock climbing. We have something for everyone. So I work a lot with volunteers on a day-to-day, and also other organizations. We work closely with tons of organizations here in Connecticut. So just creating and nurturing relationships essentially across the whole gamut.
So, and tell us, all these programs are free?
Free 99. Everything that we do here in Connecticut is free. So, we are a nonprofit, and, we do love a generous donation where folks can afford to do that. And, here in Connecticut, we have some awesome local funders who do a great job of like fundraising for us. But yeah, all of our programs are free. The only thing that we ask of folks is that they come with 48 hours of continuous sobriety. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to identify as sober. And this is where like a lot of sober curious folks come to our events, folks who are just living a sober lifestyle, friends, supporters, family members of folks in recovery. Yeah.
So that's a really great thing. And of course, there are a number of expenses, there's overhead and
Yes
involved. So yes, donations are always welcome. And all of your, a lot of volunteers, and you do a great job keeping it all together.